It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, ends up, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Welcome back to the second hour of the Full Court Press here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan. Streaming online at 1069thefan.com and the 1069 The Fan mobile app. Jason Walker with you here along with Eric Frandsen.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. A few days late. Any resolutions, Eric?
Ooh, I'm not really a big resolution guy.
Thing is, if I had any resolutions, there's things I've been working on since like November, December. So like I'd already, and I didn't
I'm
really,
kind of the same. Yeah.
I didn't really start doing them because I thought I'm going to do early New Year's resolutions. Like there were things I identified that I needed to get better at. And I just started doing it.
Yeah, same. Mine started in October. Yeah, I'm not really a big resolution guy because I've tried it in the past and then I've always disappointed a few weeks later that I forgot or I just didn't accomplish it. And it's like,
Yeah, and that's
I'm not even going to set anything because I know I'm just going to get frustrated and disappointed.
Yeah, at this point, New Year's resolutions are just it's fodder for radio. It's fodder for TV commercials.
Yeah.
And gyms.
And I'm not anti-goals. Don't get me wrong. I think you need to make goals, and there are reasons for them.
Well, we just talked about how we both made goals.
Yeah.
We just didn't do them at the New Year. We just said, oh, we need to be better.
This needs to happen.
That random thing in our particular lives because – believe it or not, me and Eric aren't perfect. I know some of you may think that, but
wait, what?
But yeah, we try and work on things. So yeah, if you guys have any fun New Year's resolutions, go ahead and send them in the text line.
Share them on the Full Court Press text line 435-339-0321.
Hopefully, one of your goals is to listen to the Full Court Press as much as possible.
Yes, absolutely.
I would be very much
whether live in real time or via the podcast.
Yeah, those are great resolutions. That's the perfect resolution. Absolutely perfect. Can't get any better than that.
Looks like we got a few texts that came through that we didn't get a chance to get to. 8968 sent this in last hour, and we may talk about this more tomorrow, but. What I want to see Saturday night is the Spectrum Magic that was there in Coach Smith's first year, the night they played Nevada, and Reno busted up the locker room afterwards.
Yeah, that famous Jordan Caroline, the Sweet Caroline. Would you call it the Sweet Caroline game?
Yeah.
Where Jordan Caroline ends up busting the fire extinguisher or the glass to the fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
I guess.
Players running up and down the hallway.
Yeah, that was the one game I wasn't there because I was down
Eric
covering.
Musselman's wife throwing allegations that just flat were not true.
Yeah,
that was lots of fun.
Fun time. Sold out game. From what I've been able to look up, the Colorado State game is sold out.
It should be.
Yeah, I was looking
great
earlier
game.
Today, and they say it's sold out. You can't buy. You can probably buy them secondhand, but
it should be. Should be a full house. I mean that arena. This team deserves that.
Yeah. Students, classes don't start until like Monday. So, like, do you think the students will all be there?
I hope they come back early for this one.
Like, sometimes they'll try and come back like Saturday night, Sunday night. But I wonder if some of them will be like, we're gonna come back Saturday, go to the game. Because you're gonna need the full crowd for the Colorado State game.
Yeah, well, and we'll get into more Utah State Colorado State matchups tomorrow here on the show.
We'll have the full breakdown then. Another text coming in. We mentioned women's basketball. Losing to Wyoming 9-5. So sad when the highlight of the game is a former high school player that's at a different school. And it is a little sad, especially because you had such a great player, and she's not at Utah State.
And she's not here. She chose to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing.
It's hard to blame her.
Yeah.
Some other Utah State news. This coming in this afternoon. Utah State men's basketball coach Danny Sprinkle earns the Jim Fallon Award. It's mid-season honors announced today. And the Jim Fallon Award is named to honor legendary bow-tied coach who spent his entire head coaching career at Mount St. Mary's University. But
look, nothing against this
whatever it is,
bow-tied Jim Fallon fellow, but why are we making official mid-season award trophies? What the heck?
Mid-season, mid-major.
That's just condescending.
No, I guess it's not mid-major. It's just mid-season.
Like, why?
So there's a 10-member voting committee, current and former head coaches, and 2 senior staff members of collegeinsider.com. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay.
That's just them trying to create an award. And again, it's PR fodder.
It is. It's just, hey, let's create something to create a press release that other institutions will share and mention our name. But you know what? Okay, whatever it is or how credible it is. What's great, though, is that Danny Sprinkle's getting some national recognition, which he deserves.
Yeah. Well, he's already been getting that. Again, this award aside, it's nice to see Coach Sprinkle getting it. It's just a rubber stamp on what has been happening. Where there's a lot of recognition for Utah State, a team that started 13-1 on a crazy off-season situation. He's built this roster from dang near nothing into they were 26th in the net.
26, yeah, I just looked it up.
And they're like 41st in Ken Palm or 48th, one of those two, I forget. So this is a good team. This is a good team. Easily top 5 in the Mountain West. We're going to see exactly where in that top 5 after conference play. It's hard to exactly sort out the top 5. We just know we have 5 really good teams in the top 5 of the Mountain West, and they're about to fight amongst each other to see exactly where they sit. But yeah, so Danny Sprinkle deserves this type of recognition. I'm just baffled that this type of recognition exists.
Yeah. The end of season
it's
winner
who cares?
Will be announced in Phoenix during the side of the men's basketball championship.
Yeah, so. I get the feeling that the impression I get from Danny Sprinkles, he's the kind that kind of roll his eyes at this. Maybe get a little bit of warm fuzzies, but roll your eyes at, because he's spent his entire non-conference schedule talking about what's coming, and this kind of thing. He's been saying bigger things are coming, and this Saturday is one of those bigger things.
Yeah.
Where it's nothing matters. And it kind of matters obviously in November, December. It does matter because the resumes and quad one. The Aggies currently have a quad 1 win under their belt. That win over San Francisco. It's it does end up mattering, and don't collect any quad 4, not few if any quad 3 losses. Don't pick up any of those. And then for the Aggies, play well in conference play. But what really matters, obviously, what happens in March, because 3 wins in March can get you an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. 3 or 4 wins in March, because that's when it really matters. And getting wins in March, because the Aggies have been getting wins in the conference tournament, but none of them in the tournaments. That's what they all care about. It's these mid-season awards. UNLV and New Mexico would have been getting these mid-season awards last year.
Yeah.
And they fell apart.
Yeah, they really collapsed.
And the Aggies, if they're not careful, they're going to have the same thing happen to them. Because UNLV and New Mexico were supposed to be the best teams in the conference, 2 of the best. San Diego State was also playing pretty well. But I think they'd actually picked up a couple of non-conference losses. So I think they were behind UNLV and New Mexico in terms of win total. And then they just both fall apart. They didn't live up to that. And the Aggies, they're not going to be immune from that potentially happening to them. I'm not going to predict that's what's going to happen, but if they're not careful, if they get too big for their britches, it could happen to them.
Yeah, Colorado State currently 15 in the net. Of course, they're a top 25 team in both polls, top 15 team in both polls. They're 2-0 in quad 1 games. It's going to be a quad 1 game on Saturday. They're 15 in the net. Utah State's 26. It's a quad one game for both teams.
Yep.
San Diego State's at 21. So still, the net really likes the Mountain West. Nevada's at 35. New Mexico's at 36. That's crazy. You got 5 teams in the top 36. In Boise State, they're at 73. Not that far behind, but there's a gap, but they're still in the top 100.
Yeah, and I think, especially Boise State, I think they can end up.
Yeah, they've played a tough schedule, which hurts their win-loss total and how they're rated. But that's a team that I think is playing better now, and they're going to be a tough team to contend with in conference play.
Yeah, so we'll see how all
Yes.
that goes. Going to the text line really quick. On 5338, saying that the Aggies made a huge jump in both the net and RPI rankings yesterday. What was behind that? You beat Air Force by 28. That's why. The net loves blowout wins. They love style points.
Yeah, and I haven't looked to see everybody else, but sometimes if San Francisco gets a win and they're at 39.
Well, again, it's like
if other teams do well,
the net calculates things like offensive and defensive efficiency.
Yeah.
Like in ratings, things like so. When you have a game where you have a massive offense, like Utah State's offensive, at one point their offensive rating against Air Force, like early in the first half, it was like 160, and obviously didn't finish there, but they had a really good offensive rating. Would have had a pretty good defensive rating, and the win that gives you a boost.
And it's on the road.
Yeah, and it's on the road. So you get style points in the net. In strength of schedule, I don't think the strength of schedule calculation is nearly strong enough in the net. Because these blowout wins really boost you. It's part of why BYU is around or at number 1 in the net. Because they have crazy offensive efficiency.
They're number 2.
Number 2. Yeah, they were at number 1 in the net, and they lost, and they've kind of climbed their way back up. But
yeah, I mean they're 1-1 in quad 1 games. They've only had one quad 2 game. They're 7-0 in quad 4, and that's where they've picked up these huge margins, and that's why it's the net likes what they've done.
Yeah, the net loves the net. Like as far as quad 4, quad 3, and all that. I just don't feel like the strength of schedule calculation is strong enough.
I agree.
Because they will love a team that's 14-0 and wins like 115 every time. Sometimes more so than a team that has a better strength of schedule, but maybe a couple of losses.
Been tested a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah. 9-15, you may need to help me a little bit with this one. So I hope they have the meteor to show how loud it is. Oh, the meter to show how loud it is. Like in the spectrum, I think.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense. Because I read that, and I thought he was asking about meteor showers, and I didn't know what was going on. But that does make a lot more sense.
I don't think they have any decibel meter in the – because they used to have that, didn't they?
They used to.
No, they don't.
There's been a lot that's messed up with the board. They
got that fixed the last game.
Video board, and I was going to ask you, and I know they were ordered some parts to try to address that. I haven't been there to see if that's been affected.
I saw somebody
addressed.
Because I wasn't at the East Tennessee State game because I was in Boise, but I saw somebody post something about how it was fixed and it was back to where they're showing stats for all the players. So I think it is fixed.
Nice. Well, they've had a bit of a break here to fine-tune it if they had to.
Yeah. I don't know how well it works. Somebody just posted at the beginning of the game.
Well, that's good news.
I was watching the game from afar.
That's great news.
First home game I've missed in a while for the Aggies.
And then 9315 asks another one, is the show shorter tomorrow due to the Jazz? Yes.
Yep. It'll be a shorter show, but we'll get the
Utah Jazz are at Boston, so they'll have pregame coverage at 4:50 with Utah Jazz Radio Network. So
basically just have our show will just be Colorado State preview.
Yeah, we'll just focus on CSU and what's coming up this weekend in the Mountain West.
Yeah. Biggest game for the Aggies. First time I'm trying to think of the last time a ranked team came to Utah State, and it was probably San Diego State.
Yeah, it's probably San Diego State. Nevada has had times when they've been ranked and come here.
Yeah, that game one of the texters mentioned earlier, Nevada was ranked at the time.
Yeah, San Diego State a couple different times. So it's not uncommon to see a Mountain West team ranked in the spectrum. 5452, stat boards seem to be functioning last game.
That's good.
That's good.
I know for the fans it's better because for me, I always have stats in front of me.
Yeah, you're always
–
it's always provided to you, but for those casual in the stands, you kind of forget how often you check that to casually see, how many points, rebounds, or whatever is going on. And when it's not there, it's
like, how many points does who have?
You kind of forget how often you would check that, and obviously they've been trying to address it. They felt your pain, and I'm glad to hear that it's working.
Yeah, that's good. Wanted to shift topics. Want to talk about the NCAA transfer portal with football, because the window closes today.
Today was the last day to announce.
Yeah, you can obviously
to officially apply.
To apply and
you can announce whenever.
Yes, if you're already in, you can announce it tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, you need to have applied for it and go through all the paperwork or online forms or whatever by today. And obviously commits can still happen because you can commit whenever. It's just you had to have entered the portal by today. So there will still be commits because there's 2,000 people who have entered the portal, and there's 1,300 who haven't committed somewhere. Those are the last numbers I saw. And I think that was yesterday morning I saw those numbers. So the Aggies, they're actually still adding people in the portal. They recently got a commit from Sean. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce his last name. It's like Dolac or Dolax, Dolac. He's a linebacker from Buffalo. That's where he was playing the last few years. He's a grad transfer, so I believe he only has 1 year of eligibility left. But he's and I actually was talking about this on the show yesterday. And funnily enough, he may have committed by the time that the show aired after we had recorded it. But I talked about how linebacker was kind of one of the areas where the Aggies still needed to add some depth. Where they had added one linebacker, the kid out of Arizona State. But with losing MJ Tafisi and the fact that the linebacker room was already thin after him, they needed to add some guys. And Dolac is a guy that I think can really add that. This year, he only played 3 or 4 games because he got injured. But the previous season, he had 130 tackles and 13 tackles for loss. And pretty solid year.
Yeah, that's good.
Productive linebacker. I don't know if he has the size. That's one thing I worry about. Is he's 6'1", 225, which is a little light for a linebacker. And maybe they try and stick him in that hybrid linebacker safety spot. But still, a highly productive linebacker coming out of Buffalo, coming off of an injured season. But
yeah, obviously, hopefully, you'd hope that he'd be healthy and off season here in Logan with the trainers and strength and conditioning and nutrition, get him back healthy, because Utah State needs more bodies in the linebacker room. They need some veteran presence there too, because they're younger guys. Some who, it was the ongoing discussion, kind of got pressed into a larger role before they were probably ready for it. So bringing in some experienced players is going to make a big difference for Utah State defensively.
And I think that's big where Dolac and Switzer, I think, can be your big, experienced guys. The guys that have played a lot of snaps. Switzer, again, they might move him back to safety, or they might move him to the hybrid. I don't know exactly where they're going to play him next year, because they had him playing linebacker at a true linebacker spot. I don't know if they're going to want to keep him there. We'll see exactly what they want to do, and we'll see what new defensive coordinator comes in, because we might see a different system. We may not see the same 4-2-5 that we've seen out of the last couple of coordinators, but you do need a lot more at that linebacker position, because you've had MJ Tafisi, who's been a rock.
Yeah,
the last 2 seasons, but you're not going to have him anymore, and he was carrying a lot more weight than he should have had to at that linebacker spot. You do get Max Alford back. He was already inexperienced. He was playing some of his first snaps ever at linebacker a couple of years ago. Missed all of last year after playing 1 snap and suffering a season-ending injury. So, he's not this super experienced veteran guy. He's been around for a while, but doesn't have a ton of snaps at linebacker. So you need those veteran guys, and, again, just as many bodies as possible. So, good job from the Aggies trying to address that and pick a pretty solid player. Maybe add 10 or 15 pounds. But the Aggies still doing some work in the transfer portal.
Yeah, and still about a month to go before their letter of intent signing day, which is early February, where that's really your roster for next year. There might be some guys on there that are going to go on missions and may not be here immediately. But I think they're trying to address the real gaping holes on the roster. Linebacker is one that I think still needs to be addressed, but I think they tried to address a lot of those early on in the early signing period from junior college and the transfer portal. We didn't see a lot out of high school. It'll be interesting to see in February if there are more high school prospects in that list.
And I think they may try and go after a few more high school prospects because, the early signing period was about the biggest issues with the roster. Maybe because the three biggest issues were the offensive and defensive line. You kind of lump those together just because they're so closely related as far as position groups. And then you had defensive back and linebacker. And you can debate whether linebacker or defensive back were a bigger concern because you had some concerns with linebacker, obviously. And then a defensive back, the problem was you're losing a lot of players, a couple through graduation, and then Devin Dye, who actually remains, as far as I'm aware, the only player in the 2-deep depth chart who's transferred away. I'm not aware of anybody else who's left.
I'm not either. I mean, I could have missed one. Obviously, I haven't been dialed in the last few days, but it seems like most of this roster that can come back is coming back. Yeah. We saw a few more running backs declare that they are coming back definitively.
Yeah, the Aggies' three-headed running back trio, they're all posting, sharing back and forth, like they're all coming back. Utah State posted, I think they posted a picture where they're all pointing at each other. It's like so they're getting that back where you had some 1,900 yards out of the three of those running backs. So that's all coming back. So yeah, the biggest positions that the Aggies needed to address because they're fine at wide receiver, they're solid at quarterback, so they needed to address some of these other positions. Obviously, offensive line, and then really just, I guess, how about the defensive line, linebackers, and defensive backs? That's all three levels of defense. That's just the entire defense.
Yeah.
But only they had certain spots of the defense because you still have Ike Larson, Anthony Switzer coming back, and Avante Dickerson and some others. But they needed to shore up that defensive back, which they did with some junior college transfers. They've got some Division I transfers at linebacker. Then they've got a mix of Division I and junior college coming in at offensive and defensive line. So at this point, I guess the question is, what other areas do you feel like they should, at this point, what's the next area of focus from either the portal or is it just now building depth through high school recruits?
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair question. And I think that if there's a chance to get better, you take that opportunity. And if that means there's a transfer player who can come in and fill in either an immediate need or just make that room better by just his mere presence will force the other players to work harder, then you still take that advantage and take that opportunity. I think they've addressed a lot of those holes. I think they can, in this final round of recruiting, lock up. I think they do still need to be in a development mode because Utah State will always struggle in getting a high 3-star, 4-star, heaven forbid, a 5-star recruit to come to Logan. And so they need to be able to recruit and develop. And there's that risk that you develop somebody and maybe they leave, but they still need to take that risk to get the type of players that fit the system and let them grow and learn the Aggie culture and become part and invested in what's going on at Utah State. So I think that we'll probably see more high school. I think you still need to have that as a significant chunk. You can't just abandon it. I don't think Colorado's model is sustainable, but I think that will be – I'd be surprised if there aren't more high school recruits in this final recruiting class.
Yeah, I do think you'll still end up with a decent amount of those as they try, because Blake Anderson to talk about both recruiting and development. And sometimes, obviously, that's the same thing because you recruit high school players and develop them. But with the transfer portal, it's recruiting transfer portal guys, a lot of whom are kind of ready to go. And then there's all the high school recruits, which the Aggies bring, which 95% of them are not ready to go with playing Division I. They need time to learn and oftentimes develop their bodies so they can physically withstand a pretty physical conference.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
we need to take a break. And I guess speaking of high school, I want to talk about high school basketball. That's been going on. We've had kind of a restart. We had a bit of a break with the holidays. Some teams playing, a lot of teams not playing a little bit, but some teams getting back in action after the new year. And we'll kind of update on standings, and then a neat accomplishment from one of the players in the Valley, crossing a significant threshold as far as points scored in their career. We'll have all that coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Don't get caught without power to your home or business. This is Tyler with Golden Spike Electric. We offer Generac backup generators to keep your home or business warm, avoiding frozen pipes, loss of valuable food, or even a flooded basement. Golden Spike Electric is certified and factory trained, so you know it will be installed right and properly maintained. Contact Golden Spike Electric so you'll never be without power again. Online at gsegenerators.com. We also service other brands, Golden Spike Electric and Generac. Power you can count on.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Open enrollment for individual health insurance is November 1st through January 15th. Coverage through the marketplace is available with more tax credits. You could save a bunch. If you haven't qualified in the past, try again now. We will help you navigate the marketplace, understand your choices, and complete enrollment. Trying it on your own can be frustrating. Let us help. Call 752-9493. There is no cost to work with us. Having a local agent makes all the difference. Call 752-9493.
Nearly 21 years ago, Cafe Sabor opened their doors in historic Logan train station. With the help of hundreds of amazing employees and patronage of thousands of wonderful customers, Cafe Sabor is proud to have been voted 3 years in a row Cache Valley's favorite Mexican restaurant in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Follow Cafe Sabor on social media for giveaways and promotions. Search Cafe Sabor for a restaurant near you. Thank you, Cache Valley, from your friends at Cafe Sabor.
Every question is a great question at Adams Wealth Advisors. Do we have enough money for retirement? Can we finally plan that trip? With the ups and downs of the economy, are our portfolios recession-proof?
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today.
Spend less time at the post office. With Formax and Mint mailing systems from Les Olson IT, you can quickly, accurately, and easily process your outgoing mail and even save on postage. Fold your documents, stuff and seal your envelopes, print addresses, weigh and measure to apply proper postage, all with the click of a button. With multiple model options available, you're sure to find a Formax solution and Mint mailing device that perfectly fits your business needs.
Les Olson IT.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
It doesn't matter who you root for. The Full Court Press has all the high school sports covered. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
And we're back here on the Full Court Press, here with Jason Walker and Eric Frandsen. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan, 1069thefan.com, and the 1069 The Fan mobile app are also ways that you can listen to the show. We're shifting gears over to high school basketball. We mentioned local high school basketball with former Green Canyon girls basketball star Marin McKenna playing her first collegiate game in the Valley on behalf of the University of Wyoming. But I want to talk about the boys basketball, some of the games that happened yesterday. I had the chance to go down to one of those, Logan going all the way to the Delta Center and taking on Uinta. And it wasn't really that competitive a game. if I'm being perfectly honest. It was a 30-point victory for the Grizzlies, who now stand at 10-2 on the season. So,
and Logan number 6 in the RPI rankings.
Yeah, they've kind of stuck at that number 6 spot, even last few wins. But up at the top of the RPI, it's competitive. So even though they've kept it up and are 10-2, I think they've been 6 since like before the holidays. So they can't get moving. Can't keep moving up there.
But what was that like, just having a high school game in the Delta Center?
Yeah, it was really fun. Like, it's obviously not nearly as full. You had a collection of fans and largely families there at the game. I actually talked to a couple parents of some of the Logan players after the game. They're so nice to me. All the Logan parents, they come to me like, "Oh, we love what you guys are doing," and it makes me feel so great. So thank you to those who keep being so nice to me about it. Broadcasting these games. But yeah, it's just a fun venue. I mean, I got to be courtside watching the game, calling the game, I should say. I was working still, but it was fun. And obviously the Delta Center, they were super helpful in getting everything going smoothly. And so yeah, the game, I know is a 30-point blowout, but of course that enabled Logan to get every player on their active roster onto the court. So it was a great experience, I think, for Logan especially, and even Uinta. They got throttled in the game, but still, it's a game at the Delta Center.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
It's like you're playing. It's like the Jazz logo is there on the court. Like and later that night, professional basketball players were playing basketball on the same court. So were the high school Lions still on the court when you were watching? No, they got them off.
Yeah, they took them off.
They're pretty quick about it.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, like immediately after the game, a lot of the event staff were coming in, just starting prepping everything, and some of the Pistons road players, TV and radio were coming in, like not the actual on-air talent, but like behind
their
the
production
scenes guys,
crews, yeah,
getting everything ready and setting things up for the game, which would have started only about 4 or 5 hours later. So it was a really fun, thing that Logan does. They've done it fairly consistently. I know they did it last year. I think they've been doing it just about every year for the last almost for a decade, I think. So it's a pretty consistent thing they do, but it's so much fun.
Yeah,
to see
really
them
cool for the players to have that experience to play a game like that in a venue like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Green Canyon also playing yesterday, a game that wasn't on my master schedule. It escaped my notice.
Snuck up on a lot of us.
Not our broadcast crew, though. They were down there, so they were watching. It was a home game. Green Canyon taking on Stansbury. Kind of similar story for them. It was a 22-point win for them over Stansbury. Green Canyon advancing to 11-0.
Number 1 in RPI.
Yeah, they're just flying this season. And on that note, Jared Anderson, one of the top players for Green Canyon, he didn't actually score a whole lot of points for Green Canyon. He's only credited with 4 points in that game, but he reached an important career milestone, crossing 1,000 points for his career. He's now at 1,002 points for his career at Green Canyon. It's his senior year now, and so just a solid and consistent career for Jet. And, of course, he's got most of the rest of the season, so there's a lot of players who won't get to 1,000 points. I mean, Jordan Child, who's lighting it up for Logan right now, he's probably not going to get to 1,000 points. It just shows that he's been consistently good his whole career at Green Canyon, and now things are culminating for him and the entire team.
Yeah.
Where last year he was balling out and scoring a ton of points, but the team wasn't having as much success. He's still playing about as well as he ever has. The whole team around him is playing well. They've all improved around him.
The guys coming back,
yeah,
more experience.
Now they're 11-0 and looking like very much the best team in not only Region 11, but in 4A.
Yeah, the only undefeated team in boys basketball in 4A.
Yeah, and they've played some good teams.
Yeah, they're not just a bunch of powder puffs. They've had some challenging games on their schedule.
Yeah, so really excited to see how region play is going to get going. We have one more day of, basically we've got a bunch more non-region games tomorrow. I think 5 out of 6 teams are playing tomorrow. I think Skyview's the only one.
Skyview's the only boys team not in action tomorrow.
Yeah, so and that'll be kind of the last hurrah of non-region games, and then we're going to get into region on like January 10th, I think, something like that. See got the schedule right here. First day of it's upside down. January 12th will be the first slate of region games.
So yeah, kind of a mini bye week, if you will. No games on Wednesday, and then region play getting started on Friday.
Yeah, and that's
as far as we know.
Yeah,
unless the team sneaks one in on us that.
Yeah, we had another one where
prone to happen.
I had a game for Mountain Crest on the schedule. Well, it turns out they weren't playing that game. They were supposed to go at Ben Lomond, but they changed it because it was on the schedule they sent to me earlier.
Yeah.
But things changed because they always change.
Gotta love this time of year.
It's how it is. A lot of things, go wrong. If one side decides to back out or something happens, who knows? There's 1,001 different reasons teams would want to cancel a game.
Yeah. But big win for Green Canyon. Great. Accomplishment for Anderson, surpassing 1,000 points. Some good basketball being played here throughout Region 11.
Yeah, actually got Green Canyon at 11-0. You got Logan at 10-2, so a couple of teams with 10 wins already. Bear River and Ridgeline have a chance to get to 10 wins themselves with their games upcoming. They're both sitting at 9-2. Mountain Crest, they're 8-3, so they won't get to 10 wins regardless before region play, but obviously they're
way better. It's a rebound year for them compared to where they've been.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good. Apparently, though, there's people that think I hate Mountain Crest, though. So I'm not sure where they got that from.
I don't know where that came from.
So I feel like I've been talking them up as one of the teams that's playing well.
Clearly, a big turnaround year for them. Skyview, that's a team that you just kind of feel bad. That's a team that lost their star, and they're just trying to. They've had a couple of weeks here, not too many games, but a lot of opportunity to spend time at the gym to kind of figure out what life will be like without Davis. And so they're 5-6 going into region play. They don't play tomorrow. They won't play until the 12th. So Coach Hilliard working with that team to try to figure out how they can move forward and try to be competitive in a very good Region 11.
Yeah, we'll see. Skyview may end up being the odd man out as far as you hope they don't go 0-10. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen.
Because I don't think that Skyview is that bad.
Correct.
Like they're 5-7. That's like they're barely below 500. The only reason that you would maybe think they'd go like 1, 2, or 3 wins is just because everyone else is so good right now. Like, Skyview's not a bad team. It's just 5 out of 6 teams in Region 11 are 5 or 6 games above 500.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is Skyview may have picked the worst year to have a slightly below average team.
Right.
Because everyone else is way above average.
Definitely picked up.
It makes Skyview look worse by comparison, but obviously they've had their day in the sun, so a lot of these other teams looking for some of their better years, especially teams like Green Canyon, Logan, and Bear River, who have been decent teams, but a lot of them haven't made deep runs into the playoffs, at least on the boys basketball side. Green Canyon girls basketball, they're always good.
Yeah.
And they're still good this year, too.
Yeah, they've been solid. Skyview girls basketball has been routinely very solid. We know Ridgeline's girls team is very, very good. So, excited for both boys and girls. In fact, tomorrow we're going to have kind of a unique situation with our coverage of high school basketball. We've never done this before. We're going to have 2 games going simultaneously, not on the radio at the same time. That would be chaos. But we have 2 broadcasts of Ridgeline. So we're going to have the girls' basketball game and the boys' basketball game. We're going to have coverage of both. And so if you want to just focus on the girls or focus just on the boys, we'll have video streams of both. But for the radio, we're going to be working and coordinating with our producer in studio and our guys calling the games, and we'll be doing look-ins of both games throughout the night. So could be an interesting night following Ridgeline basketball on a Friday. The boys are at Syracuse, I believe, and the girls are hosting Corner Canyon. So it could be a very interesting night for Ridgeline basketball on 104.5 The Ranch.
Yeah, so it'd be a big day just overall for high school basketball tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lots of games going on, and a lot of those being broadcast.
Yeah, and tomorrow, shortened show, preview of Colorado State. We really won't have a lot of time to get into everything going on with high school, so tonight's the best night to do that.
All right. We do need to take another break here on the Full Court Press. Coming up next, sport just about to get started for Utah State. Gymnastics going to be playing playing, participating. I don't know what the verb is.
Competing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird with gymnastics. The verbs don't always match up with a sport like gymnastics, but they'll be competing for the first time this Friday. They'll be at it's a quad meet, and they'll be competing for the first time this year. We'll get into that coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
This is Ryan, My Mattress. I have a little bit of a bone to pick with online bed-in-a-box mattresses. If value is the combination of price and quality, these beds are not a good value. They cost about $1,000 and they last about 3 years. That's not a very good ratio. At My Mattress, you can get a $799 Sealy Posturepedic that will last you 10 plus years. The best value is at My Mattress. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally?
It's ski season, Cache Valley. This is Mark at the Sportsman, where we mount bindings. If you need bindings mounted to your skis or snowboards, in most cases we can do it in 48 hours or less. That's right, 48 hours or less. At the Sportsman, we can also tune, sharpen, wax, and repair your skis or board so they are ready for the season. Usually we can get those done in 48 hours as well. For 73 years, we have been taking care of skis and boards only at the Sportsman on Main Street in downtown Logan with tons of parking in the back.
Okay, 2023 didn't go the way you wanted for your fitness goals, but the new year means new health goals. CubeX Fitness can help. For a limited time, become a CubeX member and get your first 2 months for free. Then, after that 2 months, you only pay $25 a month on a month-to-month deal with no annual contract. Work out at CubeX with our virtual trainers using the free weight and cardio room in complete privacy without any concerns or distractions or comparisons. Make 2024 your year. Achieve your goals at CubeX Fitness in Logan. $75 cancellation fee at time of cancellation.
Crystal Vision would like to thank their clients for their best year yet. They're grateful for your business and trust. It's a new year, so time for a new look. Crystal Vision, the gold medal winner in Best of Northern Utah, has a frame style you'll love that will set you apart from others. Take in your current prescription and let Crystal Vision fit you into a new look. Let this be the year your glasses feel like they were made for you. Crystal Vision on 14th North or online at crystalvision.com.
Check this out. This is The Herd. You're excited. I'm excited. With Colin Cowherd.
I would like to point out that all through this league with quarterback injuries, when an offensive coach loses a starting quarterback, it's not man overboard. 32 of 37 this last weekend, Jake Browning a backup at Jacksonville. Zach Taylor, offensive coach.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Join the show by calling 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Four 435-339-0321. That's the number for the Full Court Press text line. Had a couple of texts come in on said text line. 5338 said, if I said it once, I've said it a million times. Stats are for losers. Signed, Gary Anderson.
Yeah, we're talking about the stats being restored on the scoreboard in the arena, the Spectrum. It's nice to have those back, but yeah, Gary Anderson famously said, stats are for losers.
Yeah, it's like my entire thing. So am I the loser? 9315 also texting in. So far I like what I see. Great guys coming into the program and not any big names leaving Aggie football. You were talking about transfers earlier, and I certainly agree with that. A lot of good guys coming in, and Devin Dye is the best player who's left. And if you only lose at this stage in college football, if you only lose one major guy to the transfer portal, you call that a win.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And also, I thought I saw they let go of the defensive coordinator. Is this true? And yeah, so far it was reported by reputable, I think it's 24/7 Sports or one of their reps saying that Joe Cawthon has been released, and I had heard that as well from other sources. So he's gone. Like, it's true. He's gone. Or he's going to be gone. I don't know exactly when the termination or parting of ways date is. Nobody gets fired or terminated anymore. It's always a mutual parting of ways.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's. We've talked at length about this near the end of the year, that just the way the season ended. Your last 3 games, you give up more than 330 yards in rushing each game for 3 games, and there was a few others that you gave up way too many.
Yeah, there's just
it wasn't. And my stance was, if we need to, let's give the guy a full off season with the team, because he hasn't had that. Give him a recruiting cycle, because he didn't get that. But I understand. I'm not heartbroken. They're making the move. Would have been justifiable to give him another year, but clearly it just wasn't working.
For me, the whole thing about, because I defended Blake Anderson saying, hey, look, wasn't the greatest year. There's some people calling for Blake Anderson to go, and I don't agree with that. I'm more on the lines of wanting Blake Anderson to get that, let him have, another chance, try and learn from some of his mistakes and not recruiting the type of guys he needs. Give him time to recover from the mess that was last offseason. If he has, if he was able to have an offseason like this where it doesn't seem like he's getting killed in the portal again, we'll see if he can actually be really good. We'll see what he does next year, and depending on how that goes, if he goes 5-7 or something like that again, well, then the seat gets really hot. I'm not as much into giving that same kind of slack to Joe Cawthon, because with Blake Anderson, a lot of the duties that he had, more on the offense and then kind of team as a whole, where his job is, keep team morale, keep them going, playing hard, and obviously focusing on the offense. The offense was fine. The team kept playing hard and seemed to have a overall positive locker room. So like Blake Anderson was doing fine in his. He was just struggling with obviously some of the problems with recruiting. His offensive line was the biggest issue with the offense, where that's where he needs to work on some things, and he's clearly starting to address that. Joe Cawthon's defense was so utterly disastrous that there's just no excuse for that. There is not an excuse not an excuse in existence anywhere that excuses what happened with that defense. You let a team that lost its 2 starting offensive tackles, all of its running backs, its top wide receiver, like half the offense was gone, and you let them do literally anything they wanted for an entire game. You cannot let that happen. It doesn't matter if you lost your entire defense in the offseason. You had a whole season to get them ready, to build them up, to develop them. They were largely, healthy in a lot of key places. They were missing guys like Anthony Switzer and Devin Dye, but you had most everybody else. Like there was no excuse for that. There's no excuse for, and it wasn't just Georgia State, because New Mexico was rolling all over you, and Boise State, and anybody, good, bad, mediocre, they all dominated the Aggie defense. So Blake Anderson had a lot of good areas, and he was held back by some of the negatives that happened with the team in the offseason. So you can see the path forward for Blake Anderson. If he has the good offseason, he can do better. With Joe Cawthon, what was the positive? What do you build off of? There's literally nothing. So that's why I was more in the camp of, he probably should be gone. Because, theoretically, yes, he probably would have done better, but would have been that much better.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's fair. But, yeah, it looks like reported over the weekend that there's going to be a parting of ways. So Utah State, once again, on the hunt for a defensive coordinator.
Yeah. And we do need to take a quick break. I know I teased gymnastics, and then we got on talking about Joe Cawthon. But they will be playing tomorrow. I say play. Competing tomorrow. I'll eventually get the adjectives and verbs right. But they're competing tomorrow. They're at North Carolina. It's a quad meet. It'll be Utah State, North Carolina, along with Ball State and Rutgers. They'll all be competing. First gymnastics meet of the season for Utah State. And we'll see how things go for the second-year coach, Kristen White, who's taken over for Amy Smith did a lot with the Utah State gymnastics, and Smith trying to get keep that going. And I think there's a good chance the Aggies can do that. But we're going to take a break here. When we come back, Pick 6, reveal last week's results, and quickly go through this week's Pick 6. That's coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Wallace, President and Commercial Loan Officer at Cache Valley Bank. I've spent 18 years in banking, and I'm ready to share that expertise to help you meet your financial goals. I have a great team of bankers who are dedicated to providing you with the personalized attention you deserve. Come visit me at our main branch, or give me a call and let me show you what opening an account with us can do for you. We look forward to meeting you. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Sunday on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. The AFC South comes down to the final regular season game as the Jacksonville Jaguars look to wrap up their division with a win against the Tennessee Titans. Hi, this is Mike Morgan. Join Brian Baldinger and me for all the Week 18 action as Trevor Lawrence and the Jags can win the AFC South with a victory over division rival Tennessee. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Pre-game begins Sunday morning at 10:30 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Finishing up the show here on 106.9 The Fan, 1390 AM The Fan, 1069thefan.com, 1069 The Fan mobile app. Pick six results. We had this happen last week where we didn't get to our pick six results until the next time it was time for us to do pick six. It's happening to us today. So, Eric, you've got all the lines from last week's pick six, which we did on, I think, Thursday or Friday. I think
it was Friday.
Yeah, I think it was Friday. 'Cause I feel like it was off by a day. Let's go through it.
So we'll quickly go through last week's predictions for the weekend that was. Number 6, Georgia, over number 5, Florida State in college football. Set the line at 20.5. You took the over, I took the under. It was 63-3. San Diego. Oh, I had this backwards. It was San Diego over Fresno State. I put San Diego. When I did this, I flipped it the other way around. San Diego over Fresno State Friday by 2.5. Actually, it was Fresno State that won, 71-67. So I got that then. No. Sorry, you got that because Fresno State won. So you got that one.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. Weird. Who would have more points, Markkanen and Clarkson or Adebayo and Butler when the Jazz faced the Miami Heat? And Markkanen and Clarkson combined for 21. Adebayo and Butler combined for 36. You took Jimmy Butler and Bam. So you got that one. So far, you're 3 for 3. The total rush yards, combined rushing yards between Wyoming and Toledo in their bowl game, set at 320.5. Total was 314. I took the under. You took the over. It was close. Ohio State over Missouri by 3.5. Missouri won 14-3 over Ohio State. Both of us took the over, so we missed on that one. And then Markkanen points and rebounds versus Miami set the line at 33.5. He only had 17, but you did take the under on that. So you cleaned up. You got 4, and I had 2.
All right, there we go.
No, I only had 1.
Oh, you only had 1? Okay.
Yeah, actually, because that San Diego one I had backwards.
All right, so we'll quickly get into this. We got about 2 minutes. I'll have you start just because I got an eye on the clock. So.
Okay, Boston Celtics made 3-pointers versus the Jazz on Friday, setting the line at 15.5.
I'm going to go under.
Okay, I'm going to take the over. Okay, and then Jordan Love, all-purpose yards versus Chicago, 250.5.
I'm going to go over.
Okay, I'm going to take the under. And then Simone Fontecchio, points and rebounds at Philadelphia on Saturday, 14.5.
So points and rebounds?
Points and rebounds.
I'll take the over.
I'm also going to take the over.
All right, okay, let's go with my lines. More assists. I'm stealing this one. Ajay Salveson gave me the idea for this one. I'm going to go with it. More assists, Darius Brown or Isaiah Stevens this Saturday. Tiebreaker, if they get the same, tiebreaker will be the winning team.
Okay. I'm going to say Brown.
All right. I'm also going to go with Brown. Then wins by Region 11 boys basketball teams on Friday. Over under 3.5.
3.5?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the over.
I'm going to take the under. And then Walker Kessler blocks against Boston this upcoming on Friday. Over under 2.5.
2.5?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the over.
All right, and then I ended up using one of my backups, so I got to.
What are you going to take on that?
Oh, on
Kessler blocks.
I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
I had to strike because I needed to come with the tiebreaker because I had to use one of my backups because I had a Simone Fontecchio related one. Let's go with Jets and Patriots. Predict the score: Jets versus Patriots.
Oh gosh. I'm going to say Jets 17, Patriots 13.
I'm gonna pick the Patriots to win 20-10.
20-10 for the Patriots.
Oh, I can't pick against the Patriots, even though they're probably gonna lose.
It's written in ink.
There it is. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to us here on the Full Court Press. Tomorrow's show will be all about the massive matchup between Utah State men's basketball and Colorado State, 13th ranked overall team in the AP poll. Make sure to tune in.